Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. I'm Jace Mackey. The North American Chuck Wagon Championship came to a close this past Sunday. Here's our Thomas Wildman with more on the races that took place here in Lloydminster.
There goes the Swift.
It was a long 9 days of chuck wagon racing at Halstead Downs, but everyone was excited and ready for Championship Sunday, especially the top 4 aggregate drivers who were in the final heat of the championship, the Dash for Cash. Devin Mitswing, Luke Tournier, Chris Flanagan, and DJ King were in that final dash. It was close early, but lightning Luke Tournier took over the backstretch and with an excellent time of 1:14.95 won the Dash for Cash and was also the aggregate winner, winning $50,000 alongside Quade Tournier and Tyler McKenzie as his outriders.
This is the best show I had so far, but you could feel they were coming on. I've got lots of new horses. That's a brand new lead team. Well, I've put them together and now they're starting to be solid. This is their coming out party kind of thing where they're showing that they're elite lead team that you can go with.
Tournier has been very impressed with the NACC over the past few years and plans to attend again next year.
I like this show. I hope we can keep growing it. We still run the 4 wagons and do the cowboy stuff and family culture, and I love it here. I'm enjoying it on the circuit. I knew all the boys from before because I came from the CPCA, and left for probably 20 years, but I'm back now.
Tournier, alongside all the other drivers and riders, will be back on the CPCA road with the next stop in Frog Lake. Thomas Wildman, Primetime Local News.
And now it's time for us to take another look back at this week in retrospect. We start this week's edition of Retrospect in 1994 with concerns over safety on a section of the Yellowhead.
The Yellowhead Highway between Maidstone and North Battleford is getting the reputation of being a dangerous stretch of road. A few weeks ago, 2 cyclists lost their lives when they were hit by vehicles along the roadway. Last summer, 5 people were killed in 4 separate automobile accidents.
That's crazy. That's all there is to it. It's too much for, the traffic in the summer. You lose 5 people in a summer. And this short stretch of highway, it just doesn't make any sense at all.
Last night, members of communities who live along the Yellowhead asked the provincial transportation minister to make their highway safe. The Friends of the Yellowhead group wants Andy Renault and the Romano government to twin the highway from Maidstone to North Battleford. But the minister says there is no money available.
We have $62 million this year to spend on reconstruction of roads. The project between here and the Alberta border would cost probably in the neighborhood of $40 to $45 million, and of course that would take most of our budget.
Renault says Saskatchewan officials are hoping a meeting with the federal government this fall will bring in money through a national highways program. But Lashburn Mayor Bill Kulik says he thinks the government is just dodging the responsibility. Although many people have already died on the highway, he thinks the only way the government is going to take any action is if one of its own becomes a statistic.
Believe it or not, I think it might take a politician. That's if they ever use our highway here. Then there might be a change of attitude down south.
It would be years before work to twin the highway began. And now moving from one type of twin to another, here's the story of 2 Loon Lake twins from 1998.
It's nothing new to have a live colt on the ground. What is surprising is to have 2. Ruby, a thoroughbred cross mare, recently gave birth to twins. The owners, Stanley and Marilyn Morton of Loon Lake, weren't too sure what to expect when a little colt came, and then a filly. Like any twins, they have a special bond.
It's actually I was just thinking the other day, I'll probably have more trouble weaning them from each other than their mother, because they seem to be more concerned about where they are. The other one is rather than where she is. So we'll see how that goes.
It's extremely rare for twin foals to be born. If they are, usually one or both doesn't live. But what makes it so special is that they're both up and running around.
Probably about 1% of pregnancies will end up with twins that actually are born alive. And about 10% of all pregnancies will start out as twins, but only 1% would actually turn out like that.
Now 6 weeks old, Rocket and Star have their whole lives ahead of them. And just looking at these two little guys, you know they'll milk the attention for all it's worth. The Mortons are just happy to have them around.
They've been a lot of fun. I tell people they're not the best looking foals I've ever raised, but they are the most popular. So most of the time people walk by the good ones and come and see these. But we're enjoying them anyway. So.
In fact, even though the colt is bigger, Marilyn says, the filly is learning to be headstrong and bossy, adding with a smile, just like all the females on her farm.
And this has been our week in retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
And now it's time for us to check in with Shelby Clark for a look at our local weather.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jace Mackey. And it is unfortunate seeing how crazy some of those stories we were hearing about the wildfires and the switch up to the storming and whatnot that's been happening, in the country. It's been very sad. The wildfire season is absolutely wild to see. So I'm really hoping that next summer will hopefully be better, but we shall see. It takes time. So hopefully everybody's staying safe out there, but that is unfortunate. Here in the border city, we are just sitting at 24 starting off this new week. So we are looking at a slightly warmer temperature out there if you stepped outside whatsoever. It is still feeling quite warm, although we haven't been seeing too much sunshine peeking behind those clouds. It's been more of a cloudier day throughout the day today. So hopefully everybody's still enjoying it. And we are actually seeing some strong winds throughout the day as well. So it's been, once you stepped outside, it actually also is a little bit dusty. So please be careful if you are outside whatsoever. It can get, caught in your eyes or whatnot. Make sure you are shielding your face if you need to be outside whatsoever, but that wind will get you because it already got me today. Now switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, most spots are following suit with us here in the border city. Most are just seeing past that 20-degree mark. Most are just sitting at 22 to 23 degrees on our Alberta side. And then we have a couple that are slightly warmer, especially down in Vermilion and Wainwright at 24 and 25, hitting those mid-20s. And then we go a bit higher up in Lac La Biche, and they are seeing the coolest condition there at 18 as they haven't quite reached that 20-degree mark. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side here, they are matching with us with those temperatures. No spots are sitting at those teens. They are seeing past that 20-degree mark for the most part. Most are just sitting around 22 and 23, and we go a bit lower and we start to slightly warm up from there while we're seeing 24 in Maidstone and 25 over in North Battleford as they are seeing the nicest temperature. North Battleford will be going down to a low of 14, so we are expecting a warm evening for North Battleford tonight with that temperature, although they are expecting a couple of showers and a thunderstorm later on, 90% chance. So they will definitely be seeing that throughout the evening, so please be on the lookout for that. That may be happening. Hopefully we will be getting a little bit more precipitation across our surrounding area. Then for their Tuesday, daytime high of 19, so they will be cooling down quite a bit compared to what they saw today, and they are expecting some thunderstorms in the afternoon, so we might have a hectic week for this week, so please make sure you are staying careful out there. Looking at Cold Lake for tonight, they also are expecting that low of 14, so those double digits, a warm evening indeed. They are expecting a high chance of some showers later on in the evening as well, so getting some nice rainfall. And then for their daytime high tomorrow, 18 degrees, and they won't be seeing as warm conditions as what they saw today either. And they are expecting a little bit of rain and drizzle throughout the day, so be prepared for some wet conditions. For us here in the border city, we will be going out to that low of 13, and we already are seeing, some strong winds throughout the day. But for our evening tonight, we are expecting a brief shower or two later on throughout the evening, and we are expecting a high chance of a thunderstorm as well, so please make sure you are on the lookout for that. Then for our Tuesday, we are seeing a daytime high of 18, so we won't be seeing a warm day either for tomorrow, and we are expecting a strong thunderstorm in the morning. So be prepared. We are finally getting some precipitation, but it might be a bit wild with that thunderstorm. And ending off with a look at some of your weather photo submissions. Thank you to everyone that's submitted so far to our Facebook page. You can continue to do so. I will use them. This one's from Sherry. Thank you. Gorgeous shot here. Love seeing the colors in the sky and off the lake there. And this one is from Heather. So thank you to everybody so far. That's all I have for now for first look at your weather forecast.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Shelby. Love to see that orange in that first shot you showed there. After the break, though, stay with us. We'll have a look at today's business headlines.
I'm happy to be joined here today by Twyla Thompson. She's the owner of Prairie Plate. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, there's something exciting happening on Friday, July 21st. It's called the Night Market. Tell me a little bit about what that is for people who are interested.
Okay, so Midwest Fresh, they do a weekly market out there on Fridays, but this week they're adding a little something special to it. We have some food going to be there. We have some live music, and I think there's about 11 or 12 vendors going to be out there this week. So there's going to be lots to see and do. It's going to be right by Paradise Hill Ranch and Western Wear, right along the highway on Highway 3 by Paradise Hill. So you can stop in there if you're pulling your camper up for the weekend or whatever you got going on. Pull in there, grab a burger, a salad, see what all the vendors have, listen to some live music. It should be a really good night. Yeah.
And how does Prairie Plate come into this, and what are you guys doing for this night market?
So we're offering burgers and a salad. So you can either order a ground chicken or a ground beef burger, and it comes with either you can have macaroni salad or a warm potato salad and a drink, and that's $15. And you can pre-order by texting me or calling me, or you can just show up that day. We will have extras on hand, but once we sell out, we sell out. So if you really want to make sure you're getting it, just send me a text and tell me how many you want of everything, and I'll make sure I have it for you.
And is that something that you would recommend to people to pre-order in case they show up and expecting food, but there's none there?
Yeah, because I'm only bringing so much. So once it's gone, it's gone. But yeah, if you pre-order, then you're guaranteed to get it no matter what time you get there.
And how did you get involved with this market? I've talked to Midwest Fresh Produce about this market before. How did you guys get involved with it?
So I've been working with Midwest Fresh since I started my company back in 2000. So I usually get all my produce from them, especially in the summertime. They used to have a year-round hydroponics thing, so I'd get all my lettuce and stuff from there year-round. And they also did my deliveries for me. So that's how we've been involved with it. Me and Josie have, I don't know, a million text messages between us. We've worked very closely since the beginning. And they're great to work with. Yeah.
And for a small business and a Midwest Fresh Produce with everything that they do, how important is it to offer these kind of markets to the community? Especially, Paradise Hill is not super big, but having something like this, how important is it for the people in the community and for you guys being small businesses?
Yeah, I think it's super important. That's always been my company's thing is we just wanted to use as much local stuff as we could. So we grow all that stuff here, and Josie grows an amazing gardens every year. So it's always better to buy that head of lettuce or those onions or whatever from somewhere local instead of having, it shipped in from across the world or across the country and stuff. And when you support these little businesses around here, you're just supporting and helping your own local economy so much. And we just believe in that so much. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so it's happening this Friday, July 21st. What are the times and what are some of the finite details that people should know where they can contact you to pre-order and all that fun stuff?
Right. So it's going to be Friday from 4 till 8. And like I say, it's right in Paradise Hill, right along the highway at Paradise Hill Farm and Ranch. They've got a huge parking lot there, so there's room to pull in and stop for a little bit. You can pre-order your meal with me if you want to text me at 780-808-4159, or you can just show up and hope that you get one for sure. I don't mind that at all. And what else? There's going to be lots of vendors to check out, lots of local companies that are going to be there too. And there's some live music, so that'll be nice to listen to. And it's on the way for a lot of people go up to the lakes in northern Saskatchewan on the weekend. So it's just a quick stop along the way.
Well, I think it's a perfect start to the weekend, and it's a great way for people to get out there. You know, with the weather being super nice lately, it's great that people are able to get out there right before the weekend. Like you said, a lot of people are going camping, so it'd be a nice little pit stop before they go on to their final destination. So I think this is a great idea, and hopefully this is one of many, hopefully in the future. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'm super excited to see how this goes.
Perfect. Thanks, Abby.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
This is a special guest here joining us for Primetime Local News today. We have Robert J. Sawyer, Canadian author. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Robert.
My pleasure, Shelby. Thank you for having me.
Of course, no problem, because this is coming up here pretty soon for the movie, the Christopher Nolan movie, Oppenheimer, and this is perfect timing with the novel that you have right now that we'd want to speak on, and this is called The Oppenheimer Alternative. So let's kind of speak a bit about this. I really wanted to help get the word out about this and this novel here. What exactly is it all about for people that may not have heard of it, and they might just not know a lot about Oppenheimer?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, this week, in fact, Friday, Christopher Nolan's $180 million blockbuster film, Oppenheimer, is debuting. Well, it's based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning biography of J. Robert Oppenheimer. Before Nolan had announced his film, I decided to write a novel about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, the scientific director of the Manhattan Project, the Canada, United Kingdom, and United States, three-nation effort to build the world's first atomic bomb. We sometimes forget in Canada that we were one of the three partners in the development of the atomic bomb. My novel really tries to delve into the inner life and emotional conflicts inside the character of Oppenheimer. It's going to be interesting to see how the movie does it, because, of course, all they can do is the facial expressions. And Cillian Murphy playing Oppie, fine actor, but Oppie was very much an internalized person. There was an awful lot going on in here that he did not, I think, share publicly. And it's going to be hard in the movie to get into the emotional depth that I was able to do in my novel about Oppenheimer, The Oppenheimer Alternative.
Well, that's perfect too, because I was just going to say, you know, with people that are excited to go see this movie, you know, get to witness Cillian Murphy in his element and watch it. Would you say that, you know, with your book, it definitely has a little bit more details than what people might not catch in the movie?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I spent 2 years researching this book before I wrote the first word. And I've been lucky enough that, for instance, Martin Sherwin, who wrote the biography that Nolan's film is based on, praised my book. We have a quote from him on the front cover. You know, all kinds of scientists who worked with the Manhattan Project scientists, all the original scientists are dead now. Of course, it was 78 years ago that they created the atomic bomb, but have said, yes, my portrayals ring true. So it means an awful lot to me that I got it right as far as, you know, the experts are able to determine.
And no, that's really good to hear. I think it's pretty amazing to know how successful you have been in your previous work, and knowing how you feel about this novel. I think a lot of people have a lot to be excited for when they want to come check this out and read up on it. So I think that's really great. Now, without, I guess, having a lot of spoilers, and people out there that may not know a lot about Oppenheimer, you know, they're probably going to go see the movie, but they don't really know exactly the full details of it. What are some of the points that you have in this novel that you're going to touch base on when it comes to his life?
You know, the biography of him, the subtitle is The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer. There's another excellent biography by Priscilla McMillan called The Ruin of J. Robert Oppenheimer. This is a tragic figure. Albert Einstein summed it up very well. He said, Oppenheimer is in love with a woman who doesn't love him back. That woman is the United States government. Because although Oppenheimer was responsible for the end of World War II, in a very real sense, his effort led to the bombings of Japan that led Japan to finally surrender. He was vilified by his own government because he had communist friends. He'd never been a member of the Communist Party himself, but his wife had been a member, his brother had been a member, and because he opposed the military use, future use of atomic weapons. He very much believed they should never be used again. And so the government vilified him completely and destroyed his life very much so. And not only that, but his daughter's life. His daughter wanted to be a translator at the United Nations. Like her father, she was gifted at languages. Oppie spoke, I think, 9 different languages. And she couldn't get a security clearance because he had lost his security clearance. She ended up committing suicide. I mean, this is a very, very tragic circumstances that swirl around this really complex figure of J. Robert Oppenheimer.
On every aspect, the readers and, you know, the viewers for watching the movies, they're going to love this story. So I think it's really great that you have this coming out.
Thank you so much. You know, you don't have to read my book in one sitting, whereas it's a 3-hour movie to go to Oppenheimer, the movie. You know, Oppenheimer, the movie, Nolan has announced that using no CGI, but real explosions, he's recreated the atomic blast that occurred at the Trinity test site, which was the largest atomic bomb blast ever. The ones on Hiroshima and Nagasaki didn't end up being quite as big as the original test. Nobody has ever viewed that spectacle with unaided eyes and lived. The people who were bombed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, of course, mostly died. The ones who were close enough to see the bomb all died. And the people who observed the Trinity test were all wearing welder's glass in front of their eyes and were getting a very dim view of what happened. Nolan is putting that hellfire on screen for people to see. Whether they're going to choose to want to see that in IMAX, from all things, for their summer entertainment remains to be seen. But I'm going to be there, and I'm going to watch with interest to see Nolan's film and see if he does justice to what I tried to tackle as well in the Oppenheimer alternative.
Exactly. I think that moment's going to be absolutely crazy for the viewers that want to go see it and very intense. So we shall see what Oppenheimer sees this weekend in theaters all around the world. I think, you know, they'll be seeing some strong support for that and for your book. So once again, thank you so much for coming on here to speak with us. I'm just happy that we could help get the word out.
Thank you, Shelby.
And ending off with another quick look at your 7-day forecast. Be prepared. We will be expecting some rainfall throughout the evening tonight, and as we head into tomorrow, we are expecting a strong morning thunderstorm, so just be on the lookout for that. We will be seeing a lot of precipitation over the next few days, so that'll be nice to get some rainfall and to help with these dry conditions, because right after Thursday, as we hit Friday into the weekend, be prepared for some scorchers. You're going to have to keep that sunscreen and water ready as we almost reach that 30-degree mark next Sunday, this Sunday coming up, ending off the weekend, and as we head into next week on Monday.
Great, thank you so much for that, Shelby, and thank you for joining us as we start another week here on Primetime Local News. That's all the time we have tonight, but we'll be back here again tomorrow. Have a great night, and we'll see you then.